was your reaction? I mean, this is the first time that that document has seen the light of day since its signing. First time it's heard spoken word, first time it's heard drums. What was your reaction to seeing it in the real form?
Well, how come it didn't come sooner? And why is it now, today, that we're finally learning about Treaty 7? I think one of the favorite things was just to be in this spot, to actually have that opportunity to tell people how I feel about being an Aboriginal or Indigenous, Indian, Native, whatever anybody calls it. As a Siksikaitsitapi, Siksikakuan, sorry. I can actually have my voice and say what I want to say to people that don't understand what it's like to be an alien in your own country.
In terms of reactions, I've had disbelief. I've had flat-out denial. People say, oh, that couldn't have happened, our government could have never done that.
Some uneducated about the topic, and others that seem to think that they know so much that they didn't even bother to really even look at it, right? Because they know what it was about and what the intentions were.
The opportunity to work at an exhibit like the treaty has been really amazing, and especially for a history major to get work at a museum, especially with something as groundbreaking as having the treaty back in Alberta for the first time. It's a really, really unique experience, and that has been really amazing. I've really enjoyed coming into work every day, even when it's hard days. You leave emotionally exhausted most days, but it's been really worth it, and it's worth seeing it's worth having those conversations and being able to see the change in people, and having amazing conversations with people as well who do know a lot about the treaty, and learning. It's been a great learning experience from that.
I did have a personal reaction when I first saw this document. With Treaty 7, it is a living document and it still affects the people of Treaty 7 today. And with the document, pretty much as soon as it was signed, it was broken. So, you know, the after effects of the treaty is still very much negatively impacts the people today. And in terms of an emotional response, just seeing all our visitors, especially those from Treaty 7, and seeing them say, oh, my great-grandpa signed this document.
From what I've read so far is that my grandfather, Mac's 3 sons, was one of the chiefs before Chief Crowfoot.
Treaty 7 was quite a new historical concept for me to research and wrap my head around. It was actually, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, a little bit of an emotional experience. I attended the Treaty 7, the reception. I attended the reception when the treaty first came to the fort. And seeing this document and being able to talk about this document and educate people about a topic so influential as the treaty.
Very optimistic about the future. I hope that the more this information comes out, the more knowledge that comes out about residential schools and what happened, and about the treaties that were broken, and about basically the mistreatment and the systematic mistreatment of Aboriginal people over time. I think that the more this comes to light, the more people can understand, because at this point, you know, even 10 years ago, an exhibit like Treaty 7 would have never existed. They didn't even talk about residential schools and social studies. So now that this is coming to light, people are understanding, wow, that was really negative. I mean, how can we fix this? So the Truth and Reconciliation Report, the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Inquiry, even Justin Trudeau and his active response to helping Indigenous issues, I think that shows a societal shift, and that we are bridging the gap and building those relationships between Canadians and Aboriginal people. So I hope in the next 20 years, everybody knows what happened, and I hope everybody knows about Treaty 7, and everyone knows about residential schools. And I hope that there's just so much empathy and understanding in everyone's hearts that there's that will to want to create a better society and integrate Aboriginal people in a better way than we have been.
But also to, you know, be human, know what it is to have a heart, you know, instead of being separate and to look at others with judgment, right? But